Hey, have you been searching for the perfect company to create custom embroidery and screen printing? Whether it's for personal use or for your business, SewExpressive has what it takes to make your vision a reality. With premier customer service and fast turnaround times, you will not be disappointed. Place your order today and tell them Black Fly on the Wall sent you. I'm SewExpressive.com.
Controversial for a lot of people to say that my qualifications for friend in my mind, as far as the opposite sex goes, is not any different from my relationship qualifications, right? The only thing you might add, maybe two things: a level of attraction, physical attraction, and then my desire to be committed to that person. It's the only two things I would add. But all the other characteristics, and because I was
You want her to
shallow
be
at
a
the
good
time,
communicator.
all that is all the same. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
I think that's why people, when we talk about those boundaries, I think that's what that threat comes from. Because it's like, oh, if I'm talking to my wife or whatever, if we were having that conversation, she's saying, oh, you have women friends, and I say yes, that means that I made those friends using the same checklist that I use to make her my wife. And if you don't trust me, or if you don't trust my ability to govern myself accordingly, then every single one of those people is a suitor. You know what I mean? And so I would wager to say, yeah, I think all of my friends are actual friends. I think all of my women friends who are called friends, which protect my life with their body. As a matter of fact, I think it's way more likely that women will do that for you than men would do. You know what I'm saying?
It's in their nature.
Your man's gonna push you in front of a bullet and run. You know what I'm saying? And women will jump in front of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's unfortunate that this is a question, because I think, outside of my closest homies, that the best friends I have are women. You know what I mean?
I dreamed about this opportunity and this moment for a long time. You know, my dream has become a reality now, and it's the best feeling I ever had.
The devil wouldn't have existed if I would've lived in BC. Them type of haters never make it, spreading love at this speed. Started rapping back when Cash Money dropped bling bling. This the sequel to the Dr. King I Have a Dream speech. Martin was peace, now marches like MMA. The street don't got feelings, they hearts is in the bank. We need 100 black billionaires in USA, and a black Wall Street on every MLK. I'm paid now. I had a dream and my ancestors said these dead presidents my slaves now.
We back again with another one. And this is a bit rather interesting topic, to say the least, but I think it's something that's floating around, and it's something that is that needs to be discussed. Can men and women really be friends? Really? I think the key word is really, honestly. You know what I mean? But before we get started, we're going to introduce ourselves. Start with on my far left. AV, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm AV, author, investor, consultant, dad, husband. That's the thing.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Go ahead.
How we doing, everybody? Greg Bird, in the banking financial sector. Humble, currently pursuing MBA.
Nice.
Greatness.
Nice. Get that bag. Yes, all right, to my right.
Brent City, owner Living Room Bar and Lounge, minority owner Bell and Vodka, dad, new husband.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations. And of course, I'm Aaron. I'm your host today and producer, CEO of Black Fly on the Wall. Well, let's get into this segment, man. Can men and women really be friends? Greg, what you think?
To be honest with you.
No.
Was it a quit? No.
Straight up. No.
I really think that it begins with knowing the who, the what, and the why with that.
Okay.
First of all, who is the person? Who is this? What do they bring to the table? What do they do? What kind of profession do they do? What's their relationship status? Honestly, that kind of matters.
That matters.
It really does. Why? And honestly, the why might be the most important one. Why is this friendship significant enough that it may need to continue when you have a boyfriend who is normally a friend, future husband, a friend, someone that you're kind of confident in and putting all your information into? So why do you have to have another male friend to do that?
I see AV over there about to come out his seat.
Yeah,
I got
it. Everyone is different. I'm not knocking it. Personally, I haven't had really the best experiences with it. So
Okay.
my view of it is a little bit tainted.
Okay.
My thing is, why, if this is a relationship or friendship that has been going on before me, I understand that, but at some point, I think that it was entertained if this is someone I could date, or if this is someone that should be platonic.
Okay.
But before it gets to that point, it's always just understood that boundaries need to be set up. You know.
Okay.
So, and I don't really think a lot of people do the best job of already, or sometimes establishing boundaries. But it's just something that people need to kind of learn to lean towards doing. You know, that kind of coincide with having a good level of communication.
Okay. Avi, what you got to say, man? Everybody, come on.
I was dead up. I'm gonna say no, absolutely not. Like, that was funny. I mean, because I don't think it's not that I don't understand that point of view. You know what I mean? I think there's some validity to, especially if you had a bad experience that is, you know, predicated on a lack of boundaries. You know what I mean? Or kind of ambiguous boundaries. But when we talk about like what this conversation to me is about capacity. Can we? You know what I mean? Not how well do we do at it. You know what I mean? Whether we want to be good at it. It's just can we do it? I think we can do it.
Okay.
Where I think I agree is that I don't know that we always are super interested in having purely platonic relationships with the opposite sex. And I can speak, I mean, from a male point of view, because men, I think by nature and then some by nurture, are conquerors and collectors in that sense. You know what I mean? We like to have our thing and then things on deck. So I mean, we like
trophies.
You know what I'm saying? I like to have my things set up. So yeah, I got me a lady, and I got me friends, and all my friends could be my lady if my lady leave. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a for people who are honest, that's a wonderful setup.
Right.
But when we talk about integrity, you know what I mean, and we talk about conviction, that's not a great setup. You know what I mean? Because what ends up happening is you undermine the level of commitment you need to have in order to see this through, because you got to back up. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I would have this conversation with you, but Amanda not gonna make me talk about this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And Amanda don't say stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I think we can do it. Is it a good idea? I think we agree on that. I think has a lot to do with the caliber of people you're talking about. And then if we talking introspectively, the caliber of person that you are, I think there's a point in my life where it wouldn't have been a good idea for me to be in a relationship and have female friends. But the point I'm in my life now, especially as a married person who doesn't want to just talk to my wife all the time, I have to have that level of conviction if I want to have a successful relationship, but I also want to have a multi-dimensional life experience, which I think most people do.
Solid.
I think that's the consequence maybe of taking a hard line, is that you end up with only one friend. And I don't know nobody who happy with that. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Brent.
My perspective is a little different because I've always been the kind of person that just had a ton of friends, right? Yeah. Male and female.
Okay.
But see, I'm the type of person where, so to answer your question, yes, I do think that men and women can be friends. However, it's based on the maturity of the man and based on the maturity of the woman, right? Okay. And so you can be friends because you need that outlet, bro. Like, you need that second perspective, and not that second perspective that's coming from your mom. That second perspective that's coming from somebody that is in the same demographic as you, that probably is in a relationship, right? That probably can say, well, listen, let me tell you about this from a woman's perspective. Let me tell you about this from my point of view, because right now you're thinking about it as just strictly as the man, right? And so a lot of times I think that what happens is naturally men are like, yeah, we can be friends with women, but women are like, nah, you can't be friends because, I mean, let's just keep it a band, right? We trust women, women don't trust us, right? And that's
solid statement.
Yeah,
get no flack from me.
Yeah, like that's just what it is. So, you know, you have to be. It does take a strong person to be able to do it. For me, in the industry that I've been in for so many years, I've almost had to position myself to have a ton of female friends that is just strictly friends, right? And nothing more, because I understand that, hey, if I ever were to even think about crossing this line, it's going to affect my business, right? And so now, like, I got to be different. So I had my set of female friends that are just my friends, and then I have my set of friends who are my friends, right? Yeah. You know, and then I got my set of friends who was like, 2 a.m., what's up?
Right.
You know, but you got to be able to have that line between the three to be able to do it. And, you got to be strong enough to not cross that line.
Right.
That's the main thing.
So tell me this, fellas. So if if you have to be extremely strong to not cross the line, how strong is the line, right? Like, is how easy is it to blur
I see. This is
relationships?
Lines, I think,
Because you may, as a heterosexual man, you're not going to blur a relationship with your homeboy, right?
Correct.
You're straight, he's straight. That is understood.
Correct.
Y'all can be friends. There's no crossing the boundaries there. But as a lot of the women have been commenting on the Instagram and all these things, this question has been proposed to us several times from women in our DM of the pages. How strong is the line? How strong is the relationship, right? If you have to work to not blur it.
I think there's a couple things in there though. So first and foremost, I think it's just how vulnerable are you to your own desires. You know what I mean? Like, and that's sexual or otherwise. Like, I'm in traffic, somebody cut me off, and I think to myself, y'all could kill him, but I mean, are you gonna murder a person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a situation like that, it's super easy to say, I mean, okay, I had a feeling, I don't have to act on it. I don't think that's any different from, matter of fact, at a point in my life, I made it a point not even to befriend women who I thought were unattractive. I don't want to be around ugly people. They have a different life experience. I don't want to experience it. You know what I'm saying? But what that means, though, is that every single person that's in my life, I find attractive.
Mm-hmm.
What becomes important is, what do you do with your attraction? You know what I mean? Can it just be that? I walk into a store, I say, oh, that's nice. I ain't got to put it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say, oh, it's nice, and leave it where it's at.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Solid.
The second thing, I think, has a lot to do with what I think maybe you were pointing at, and this is the value of the relationship itself. I'm way slower to cross lines with people who I feel are irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never going, not in a non-sectional way, I'm never going to cross my mom or my sister or my brothers, because I only get one mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm only going to get one sister. In the same way, I mean, if your friendships have become invaluable in that way, regardless of what you look like to me, I'm like, hey, whoa, we friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really. And then I think what you'll see is that there have been times even where I think relationships I've had are already sexual, and the continuing in that direction threatens the relationship. And I say, hey, look, what's more important? So we can either keep doing this and eventually we're never gonna talk again, or we can stop and we can remain friends. You know what I mean? And so there's been a lot of times in my life where I'm like, look, we can't keep going that way. You know?
So fellas, that's a good point. So how do you transition a relationship, a friendship that took a left turn, became sexual, or you all started to date, understood that that's no longer what you all wanted to do, and you all wanted to go back to being platonic friends? Like, how does a man manage that?
So you can do it. Like I said earlier, it's really about setting those established boundaries. It's kind of something you kind of relate to maybe like a divorce agreement or a separation agreement. Like, you have to kind of have it in black and white. Okay, so this is what we're doing, this is what we're not doing. It's going to be a challenge because you've been doing something, or you have been conditioned to be doing something for so long, and now you're taking that away. So it's going to be an uphill struggle. But with maturity, proper boundaries, like I said, it can be obtained. A lot of times when men and women coming together, how many times have you had a situation where they come together not knowing each other, like, hey, you're cool, let's just be friends? Like, that's not how it starts off. It graduates to that. Basically, maybe it's been a situation where someone has made an attempt to talk to one.
Yeah, true.
Whether the man has made an attempt to talk to the woman, or vice versa, and someone, I guess, got denied. Okay, now
it's easy to be friends then.
It is. And you ain't got no choice. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying.
You got many choices, bro.
That's most of the time. That's how men and women become friends. At some point, it was entertained that there was someone attraction on one end or not on the other end. And it got to the point where, like, it's best to be platonic. You're a nice person. You're nice on the inside. You may not be what I'm looking for on the outside. Not to call it. You may not be what I'm looking for on the outside, but you have some solid qualifications, and I can probably learn from you. I think we should be platonic friends.
So tell me this. Were you all really friends? Like AV? Like, because AV said, whenever you're friends with a woman, you understand the invaluable relationship that you all have together. So if that line was blurred, right, and this is for the people that's listening, if that line was blurred, right, were you all ever really truly friends? Because I look at the word friends, and I tell my girl this all the time, like, friend is a word of endearment to me, right? That means that this is somebody who I can count on in the time of need, somebody who would protect me with their own life. Like that's how I truly look at the word friend.
Right.
I think a lot of times especially as in our millennial generation, is that the word friend is tossed around a lot, right? And what we truly have, we have a lot of associates, but we don't have a lot of friends, right? People who you would tell one of your secrets that you would take to your deathbed, you would tell a friend that.
Yeah.
Right? Not somebody who you met, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, you find out that she has a tendency and you like, you know what, I no longer want to, be sexual partners with her or girlfriend material. I'm gonna make her my friend. I'm gonna put her in this category. Now, as men, do we place women in the friendship category and we call them that, or are we really moving them to what we call an associate? Because the word friend is a word of endearment, right? Is she really your friend? Can you really call on her in a time of need? AV?
I mean, I think that has more to do with just that question and less to do with maybe even the sex and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? I think what might end up happening is that sex, I think, might threaten your ability to assess their real value.
Okay.
And then get to that point. You know what I mean? So it's like once you've already
cloud
been to that
judgment.
point, do people who have had sex at one point and stop having sex continue to evolve and grow together? Is a question that most people the answer is no. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, once we done that, all the hard work is done. You know what I mean? I'm not asking you what your favorite color is no more after I smack. Like, it don't even matter. If I smack and I didn't know your favorite color, I'm never gonna know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of how that goes. But I don't think that that's really predicated on whether or not we're real friends. I think that's just a bucket or not. The thing is, though, is that it's way more likely that if you've transitioned back to what you're calling friendship, that person wasn't that. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be controversial for a lot of people. It shouldn't be, but it will be.
Yeah,
It's going to be controversial for a lot of people to say that my qualifications for friend in my mind, as far as the opposite sex goes, is not any different from my relationship qualifications, right? The only thing you might add, maybe two things: a level of attraction, physical attraction, and then my desire to be committed to that person. It's the only two things I would add. But all the other characteristics, and because I was
You want her to be a good communicator.
all that is all the same. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
I think that's why people, when we talk about those boundaries, I think that's what that threat comes from. Because it's like, if I'm talking to my wife or whatever, if we were having that conversation, she's saying, oh, you have women friends, and I say yes, that means that I made those friends using the same checklist that I use to make her my wife. And if you don't trust me, or if you don't trust my ability to govern myself accordingly, then every single one of those people is a suitor. You know what I mean? And so I would wager to say, yeah, I think all of my friends are actual friends. I think all of my women friends who are called friends, which protect my life with their body. As a matter of fact, I think it's way more likely that women will do that for you than men will do. You know what I'm saying?
It's in their nature.
Your man's gonna push you in front of a bullet and run. You know what I'm saying? And women will jump in front of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's unfortunate that this is a question, because I think, outside of my closest homies, that the best friends I have are women. You know what I mean? And the most caring and considerate. The ones who gonna tell you, all the people in my life who are not Trey, Dave, and Jack, who gonna tell me, yo, bro, you need to go home. Those are women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got homeboys who be like, I never really liked your woman anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, honest to God.
Right,
So-
But that's that different perspective that I was talking about, right? So of course, you leaving the club and you see something. What's your homie gonna say? Like, hey,
Hey.
go to work.
Put the key in there, lock that door.
Go hit that thing, right? But the woman's gonna tell you, hey, no, you need to go home.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love your
Yeah.
wife. I love your girlfriend. She's so sweet. You need to go home.
Well, they're gonna say, look, don't mess up a good thing. But to kind of piggyback off of what y'all was saying, humans, we add off emotions, right? That's just the nature of it. So there can be somebody that is truly your friend, right? But then there can be some kind of event that happens in your life where now you're confiding in this person, and now you're forced to like almost make an emotional decision. And sometimes the emotions get the best of us, right? So obviously when you're acting off emotion, you're not acting off a rationale, you're acting off emotion. So it's kind of weird.
No,
it's kind of weird
people make
because
mistakes. You gotta give people grace,
because
for sure.
like I've had situations where I've had female friends, and I may have been in an emotional time in my life, and I may have said something based off of the emotion and the nurturing that I was getting from that female friend. And then the next day I woke up and was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Right? And so it's not a real feeling, but it's just an emotional feeling that you're having. And so we got to kind of figure out, the balance. The balance. And it goes back to what you were saying about boundaries and communication is very important. If you don't communicate and have those boundaries from the beginning, then it's doomed.
Right.
It's doomed.
So for my married man,
What's happening?
y'all have wives.
Yep.
She comes over a consistent time period. She says that she has a new male friend, right? Because a lot of times I think it's easy to accept a male friend whenever they were there before you.
Yep.
And whenever you meet your wife, you meet your girlfriend, you've seen this individual around for 3, 4, 5 years. Y'all get married. He's at the wedding, gifts, maybe godfather to your children, whatever it may be. You have an established relationship now. He's your friend too now, right? Because you all have this cohort. But what about how do men handle the new male friends? Because that also happens, right? Because this is life. Everything is not so cookie cutter. So I think a lot of the conversation thus far has been centered around these friends that's been around before. So from the married man, how do you handle new male friends?
It's the boundaries for me. It's the boundaries, right?
You gonna size them up a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
I'm just like that.
Hey,
You gonna be like, hold on, this new.
hell yeah. Because look, if and I was gonna say that at the beginning, right? So when we were talking about having friends of the opposite sex, I think that prior to your relationship, depending on how serious it was, like prior to the relationship, absolutely yes. After the relationship has started and you've been in a relationship for a certain amount of time, then to me it does kind of raise red flags. I'm not making any new female friends like that I would say like these are my actual friends. All of my friends that I've had have been my friends for years. I'm not looking for any new actual friends. Right. Now people that I speak to, hey, what's up? Invite them out to the party, etc.
It's an associate.
Yes, exactly. So
when your wife comes home, she said, this is nice guy at the gym.
Hell no, at the gym? She got me fucked up.
He's saying it.
You know what you're doing.
No,
bro.
It happens, bro.
No, that's a good segue.
It happens.
It's a good segue from my point.
At Nordstrom or
not there
or
either,
Saks Fifth.
Not there either. So
he has a girlfriend.
It would be a non-issue because if she met him at Saks, never mind. So, but no, because I was gonna say I think a lot of the boundaries that we're talking about are in behavior. You know what I mean? I think behavior is what dictates whether or not there's a red flag. And not even that. Even when we was talking about old friends, if I have a female friend as a married person, I don't do with her things that I wouldn't do. I should say it like this: I wouldn't do the same things with her that I would do with Trey. Me and Trey, I could tell Drew. I could say to my wife, "Yeah, me and Trey gonna go to the movies to see the new Candyman joint, and it show at 7 because they only got 2 showings a day. Whatever, ain't no issue." But I'm not telling her I'm going with my female homegirl. It doesn't matter how long I've known her to a movie with just the 2 of us at 7 o'clock. That's a date. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
In the same way, my wife comes home and says, "Hey, yeah, like I'm off on Tuesday. I'm going to do brunch with such and such, because he has some insight on the business or whatever. He's a good friend of mine." There's no issue with that because the behavior in and of itself to me is benign. I don't think that. And I mean, if you say how do you handle it, my first instinct was to say I don't. It's like when dudes jump in your girl comments on Instagram. I'm not responding to him.
It's not your responsibility.
You're going to respond.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not your responsibility.
I'm not going to respond to a man you haven't responded to. How would I look like?
Right.
Like, bro, you just watch her comments all day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're saying I responded to cuz, I blocked him, he came back on a different account, we can have a conversation about that. If you got a male friend, I am not.
But that's a whole nother episode.
So, listen, I mean, and I'm gonna really leave it at this because at some point we got to be honest with ourselves about the level of governance our relationships require. If you got to be a guard dog of your woman's side of the relationship, you're not in a relationship.
You're not in a relationship.
You see what I'm saying?
So where's the trust at?
So this is what I'm saying.
No, it's not a good feeling.
You shouldn't even be here with a person who can't move like they want to move. See what I'm saying? If you gotta question that, and then men, because we play this game because we don't want to make it about our partner. You say I'm worried about other guys, but I'm not worried about other guys because I know my wife. You know what I'm saying?
It's her responsibility to hold it
She
down.
gonna get at it before I get at it. She's gonna say, "Hey, bro, listen.
Yeah, chill.
You know what I'm saying? Chill. I don't
yeah.
play them games.
I ain't the one.
Where I'm like, haha, guys, that's a little inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? She's way more aggressive than I am in that space. And so I don't think I'm worried about that at all. My wife come home and say, I'm going to lunch with such and such. And I'm like, she's like, I mentioned to you last week. I met him, whatever. And I think he's cool. And we going to go talk about whatever.
Work friend, whatever.
Work friend or whatever. Because that's more appropriate. You
Right.
tell me you met a guy at the gym. Like, because who's
So
talking to strangers?
Work,
You feel me?
gym, work.
Because I think it's the behavior. What
Okay.
are men at the gym ain't talking to women because they want to be friends? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Hey,
You
but
told
Fellas
me,
they be snipers in the workplace
Hey,
too, though.
and I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is that a work engagement is an organic engagement. At least then, I'm depending on her discernment.
It's the genesis of how
You
they
feel
meet.
me? So if you say,
location, all that.
I ran into this guy at at choir practice at church. Or I ran into
Why
a
you have to
guy
go to
at
the
work.
most humble place?
Because I'm going where people naturally meet new people.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not, and the nature of the place doesn't make it inappropriate. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So gym.
She doesn't have leggings on and-
Saks
Yeah.
Fifth. These are all pickup spots for men. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying work is not, but I'm saying at least at work, it's illegal. You feel me? So it's like, anyway.
But also for us, it depends on where we are in our life,
Yeah.
right? And
I can see that.
and how we're moving, right? So if we're moving the right way, right, and then your wife or girlfriend comes home and said, "Hey, I met so and so. They want to talk about business. So we're gonna meet up at Barnes and Noble or Starbucks and talk about business." If you're moving the right way and not moving the wrong way, then it's not a problem. But if you're moving the wrong way, then it's like, hold on.
Yeah, you have a history, or if you have a history of infidelity, or a history of going
It's
too
like
far.
that Usher song, the joint on Confessions, where he blamed her the whole song. Then he's like, "I'm the one bitch." It's that joint.
But and you think about it, okay, and like, because I mean, this is, of course, we can never have enough time with this topic, but it's like you have a lot of women who don't have male friends,
Yeah.
but then meet some whenever they get into a relationship,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why I wanted to propose that topic, because like for the ladies out there that never had any male friends, because they exist, but they get into a relationship and all of a sudden the universe receives energy. You get a new man, other men start coming, right?
Yep.
And let's say, for instance, it is a platonic guy that she knows, like, oh, I've always wanted a male friend. I now have an opportunity to have one. It just so happened to come after I got into a relationship. So, like, even for the ladies out there, I think the most appropriate way you handle it is how you handle the interaction, the genesis of that relationship, how you bring it to your significant other, how it's posed, how you meet. All those things matter. All those calculations matter. But before we close out real quick, you got 30 seconds or less.
All right.
Fly conversations, all right? Hashtag fly
conversation.
conversations. I want to know what your perspective is on this. You and your girl break up.
Oh shit!
It happens. Everybody's been in a breakup before.
It's about to be messy.
It is.
Hey,
You and your girl break up. She then gets into a relationship with her male friend who was always around, right? Just like we've been talking about.
Right.
How does that affect your viewpoint, right? Because like Greg said, he came from a history of having some situations in the past where the girlfriend may have been slightly inappropriate with male friends. How does that now affect your point of view on this topic? Because the guy is essentially, he was a sniper. Yeah. He was laying on your girl.
No.
He either a sniper or a gunny.
does that make him a sniper?
I want to listen. Yeah, go somebody.
Well,
Go ahead. This 30 seconds.
that doesn't make him a sniper. Like, I mean, again, like I said, everything is acted off of emotions, right? So you got somebody that's vulnerable, right? And
After a breakup.
after a breakup, you're vulnerable. Of course, you're going to lean on the person that is closest to you, right? And those kind of things happen. That doesn't necessarily make him a sniper. My take on it is, I don't think it would change my perspective on it, right? Because I understand that.
How would it make you feel? Your girlfriend of 5 years, they've been friends for 7, 8. Y'all break up, you get on the gram, they got a picture together.
Hey, you can do whatever you want to do on your last day. No.
My man
How would it make me feel? I would be like, this motherfucker.
Hey, that's genuine.
I would be like, this motherfucker. But, move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Greg?
And that's what I say. I mean,
30
I think
seconds.
it's one of those situations where that was said in the previous episode is just you take it with a grain of salt. It happens. You don't beat yourself up over it. Because to be honest with you, that's not something that's really all on you. Whatever is in a person is going to come out. I would say honestly, change your perspective on it. Change it and look at it like, hey, now I know how this person was. I had thoughts in the back of my mind that it may have been like this. Now it's been proven. I mean, it's a pretty low blow to do, but that's something that they have to deal with now.
AV?
No longer.
They blessed. I got a couple things. I mean, 30 seconds or less. First thing I would say is that if you're gonna feel that strongly after the fact, you should have went and got your girl. That's the first thing. I mean, you sitting around feeling away while she with another man.
Well, Drake would take care of
Yeah,
him.
I'm like, bro, how much did you want her for real? You gonna watch them date? You know what I'm saying? It'd be mad. Like that's the first thing. Second thing is, again, I mean, I think most things are practicality and logistical things. You know what I mean? You and your girl break up. Who better for her than her closest friends? You know what I mean? Honest to God, a matter of fact, I put it on Instagram, I think yesterday or the day before. You single and you don't want to be, you need to look in your friend zone. That's where your husband is. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
solid.
all the people who you said, oh, he just a friend, because probably for some superficial reasons, are the people who are best for you. Them the people who've been riding for you, whether they slept with you or not. On your good days, your bad days, your ugly days. You know what I'm saying? All of that, they've been your friend regardless. Those are the kind of men you want around. You've been after the men who only want to talk to you when your hair done. You know what I'm saying? So
you got
for
makeup
me,
on.
I'm thinking two things. One, I'm not gonna feel away. If I'm not gonna feel away, because if I felt away, she'd still be with me. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's the first thing. But second, if don't feel away and we broken up, I expect that the person that's gonna be next up is the people that are close to you already. My mind would be boggled if we was together for 5 years and you bounce back a month later with a stranger. I'd be like, yo, something wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need an intervention. Are you okay? Like, how you
Waiting for
just
people to
jump
pump
right
your
into-
gas? What you doing?
But my man's, and then my third point, because you said, y'all been together 5, 6, and she been friends with him 7, 8. Really, you was lucky to even be there. She knew my man's first. Like, if anything, he had dibs, and you jumped the line. You know what I'm saying? So this is the universe correcting itself. I feel no way about that, man. Like,
solid.
Last point. This is the thing. Y'all take this on the audience. If you're single and you don't want to be, your person is in the friend zone. I'm just gonna. That's it. That's it.
Episode over. Look for your husband in the friend zone, man.
Friend zone,
Bingo.
There we go. Fly conversations.
Let's do it.
Can men and women really be friends? Good. Thank you for watching today's episode of Black Fly on the Wall. Before you go, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you watching.